everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butts Chester. You guys know who I am, and you know what I like to do on my show. Say it with me. I want to enlighten, inspire, and empower you to become your best self. Now, Scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And that's what we want to do today. We want to get you fired up about our topic. Today, we are talking about lead yourself first. Now, you know what I'm going to tell you to do. Go on, get comfy, get cozy, get your coffee or get your tea, because we are about to get started. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me here on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. We are talking about lead yourself first today. Our scripture that is the foundation is Luke 16:10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Again, welcome to Daily Spark with Dr. Angela, where we are going to start with intention for today. We are going to place the intention, we are going to speak it with clarity, and we are going to walk in purpose. So today it's all about motivation, and we're talking about something foundational, something powerful, and something that will shift how you show up in every area of your life. Our topic, lead yourself first. Now, let me ask you something. How can you expect others to follow you if you haven't learned how to lead? Because leadership is not just about influence. It's also about discipline, consistency, and self-awareness. Now, you may not think about it in those terms, but let's kind of break that down just a bit, shall we? Discipline. Are you the type of person who is about your business? That phrase we used to say, word is bond. Are you disciplined? Are you consistent? Are you determined to make it happen? Discipline and consistency go hand in hand, especially in this 3 parts. Discipline, consistency, self-awareness. Discipline is what makes you determined. Consistency means that you are about your day. You are not going to disappoint. You are going to always make sure that you are giving 100%. Now, I know folks sometimes say, well, I want to give 110%. I want to give 1,000%. Bravo. But make sure that you are consistently giving at least 100%. In your discipline, you are doing those things that make sure that you are honing your craft, that you are gaining the wisdom and the knowledge, that you are able to communicate properly because you are disciplined. Now, your self-awareness is being aware of you, how you do you, how you present you, how you wish to move about the spaces in which you have been invited. Now, self-awareness is reminding yourself of what you can and cannot do, what you will and will not do as well. Self-awareness is just as much about your self-confidence as it is your boundaries. So self-awareness is the cherry on top, if you will. It's making sure that you do those things that continually are authentic to you and your purpose. Let's ground ourselves a bit, shall we? Let's look at Luke 16:10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. This is before any audience. This is before the platform. This is before the recognition. There is you. And I can attest to that. You guys have heard me share my origin story about radio. I have been doing a podcast about mental health. And with that, I was consistent. I showed up. I produced shows. I did everything I needed to do and was sharing very much from a pastoral counselor point of view. I was disciplined. I was consistent and I was self-aware. What can I talk about? What can I share about on a consistent basis that is true to who I am? I didn't try to run away from my lane of faith. Now, of course, I prayed that prayer and said, Lord, I think I would do pretty good on radio. Could you please open that door for me as well? And as you know, a few years later, or some years later, there was a phone call and they expressed that they would like to offer a show. Fast forward all of these years later, and here we are. We are sharing not only about faith, but now about leadership, about personal development, about those things are going to keep you the best version of yourself. So there is always you. And what are you going to do? What are you doing? And how can you stay doing that thing on a consistent basis? So you are your habits. You are your mindset. You are the decisions when no one is watching. And that's where leadership begins. Let's take a look at the mirror test of leadership. Let's talk honestly. Because if we don't, there's no reason in lying to ourselves. So let's go ahead and sit down for a moment and go over just a few things. It's easy to point outward. It's always easy to talk about the things that other people are doing. Well, today we're going to take a look at what we are doing. If my team was stronger, yeah, you're blaming it on the team, but what about you? If my family understood, yeah, you're blaming it on your family, but what about you? If people showed up better, I know, people, but what about you? See, real leaders ask a different question. Leaders ask, how am I showing up? Not how are others showing up? So instead of if my team was stronger, you flip that on its ear just a bit. How can I be a stronger leader for my team? If my family understood, a better way of saying that or understanding that would be, how can I communicate better so my family understands? If people showed up better. Now this one, most people are saying, Dr. Angela, that's going to be the trickiest one because there's going to be hundreds of people in the room. I can't control hundreds of people. No, you cannot. But if people showed up better, how can I show up as my best self? Are you showing up prepared? Are you showing up in your full authentic self? Are you showing up in full energy? Are you showing up with a full head on your shoulders? Not only are you showing up with your own confidence and your own wisdom, but you are also showing up with the mind of Christ in that situation. So you are being mindful, you're being aware, you're being empathetic, you're being sympathetic, you're being compassionate. You are being all of those things while you are presenting and being with your team, with your constituents, with your colleagues, with your congregation, with whomever it is that you are leading. Self-leadership means managing your emotions before they manage you. Self-leadership means keeping your word to yourself as much as you do to others. It means showing up with integrity even when it's inconvenient. It means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Because here's the fact. People don't experience your intentions. They experience your patterns. If you're inconsistent with yourself, it will show in how you lead others. If you lack clarity internally, it will show up in your direction externally. If you're overwhelmed within, it will spill out into your environment. So, before you correct, before you lead, or before you direct anyone else, take the mirror test. Alrighty, everyone, it is time for us to take a very short break, but when we get back, we will continue this conversation. We'll be back right after this.
For many people, a breast cancer diagnosis can feel like a battle they're facing alone. But we are in this together because there are mothers, our sisters, our daughters, our friends. NBCF rallies and screening, supporting, and serving communities across the country. Because every woman matters. Every story is powerful. Every voice makes a difference.
Just beat breast cancer.
And every dollar helps. Together, we rise. Are you in?
And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butchester. Today, our topic is lead yourself first. Let's jump back into that conversation. Building internal leadership habits is very important. Now, let's make this practical. Because self-leadership is not a concept. It's a daily practice. And you guys know that I love giving you things that you're able to do immediately. Let's be honest. If you make stuff difficult, folks don't want to do it, right? So why would I make it difficult for you? Here, let me make something very, very plain. I will always give you something that I am also doing myself, have done myself, or we know that it is textbook and it works. So let's get to some things that we can do to build our internal leadership and create these great habits. Here's how you begin to lead yourself well. Number one is keep promises to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Even the small things. And you might be saying, Dr. Angela, make promises to yourself or keep promises to yourself. I don't even make promises to myself. But you do. You really do. For example, you may tell yourself, you know what, after work today, I'm going to go do that thing. I'm going to go get my hair done, get my nails done. I'm going to swing by such and such place and pick up something. I'm going to go pick up something for dinner, whatever it is, right? Like you say that early in the day and you are committing something to yourself. you're making a promise to yourself. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to start getting up early. I'm going to start eating breakfast, whatever it is, right? I'm not going to eat after 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., whatever it is. You are making a declaration to yourself, even if no one else hears you. It's still important because you said it. So, how can we process this? Even the small things are important. Wake up when you said that you will wake up. Finish what you said you were going to start. Follow through on your commitments, even if it's just with yourself. Because every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your own trust. And leadership requires self-trust. I know I could hear someone going, wait a minute, what did she just say? I'm so glad you asked. Let me say it again. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your own trust. See, our minds have a way of taking note, even if we are not consciously aware of it. So every time you break your word to yourself, you break a promise to yourself, you are reminding yourself that you are not trustworthy. And that's not good. You want to, in fact, remind yourself that you are trustworthy. So therefore, you will continue to do the things that you have promised, you have stated, you have declared that you are going to do. So that the note taker decides, this person is trustworthy. We can count on them, even if the person you are speaking about is yourself. Number 2, manage your mindset. Not every thought deserves your agreement. Self-leaders don't just think, they elevate their thinking. When doubt shows up, challenge it. When negativity creeps in, redirect it. When fear speaks, answer it with truth. So you know that scripture reminds you to have the mind of Christ. So if that is true, then you're able to do all of these things quite simply. When doubt shows up, challenge it. You can also answer that with truth. So if you're wondering, what are you wondering for? What are you wondering about? What are you wondering? Why are you wondering why? Here is what we know to be true. 1, 2, and 3. Here's what we are going to be doing. X, Y, Z. There's no need to challenge it. There's no need to worry about it. There's no need to doubt it. And I say that because one of the truths that you already know is that you've done your due diligence. And because you've done your due diligence, you're able to address it in the challenge. That is false. This is what is correct. Now, way back when, our very primal minds used this as a way to keep us safe. So, of course, there was a time and a place to challenge anything that we were doing. Are we sure that we want to take that route? Are there bears, lions, or dogs over there? Are we sure that we want to drink this drink? Is it clean? Is it pure? Or is it going to make us sick? Do we want to go at this time of day? Will night come soon? Night is not safe. Be it that there is stranger danger, or there's just not an illuminated path, or we don't know where we're going and we could get lost because we only know it by landscape, not by true direction. There are so many ways that when we start to process why our minds do the various things that come across our path along the way, it is just to keep us safe. But far too often, people have fallen back into that safety net. and go, oh, well, if I thought about it, it must be true, and therefore I'm not going to move forward with it. You have to train your mind to understand what is safe to do, and then let it deal with the other things that continually are unsafe. When negativity creeps in, you redirect that negativity. So if this is negative, what is its counterpart? Is there something positive that I can focus on? Not the negativity doesn't have merit. It may, but it doesn't mean that it is the only answer or the only solution to said situation. Again, it goes back to that primal thought of, is this going to cause me danger or am I going to be safe? When the negativity comes in, ask yourself, what is the root question? What is the root cause? What is the root issue that needs to be addressed? Don't start all the way up at the top, of the tree, so to speak, like that very top leaf that's up there tickling the sun. You want to start down at the root. What is the problem? What is at the base? And that is what you want to address, because that is where the negativity is coming from. There's something that's worrying you, and perhaps it is something that needs to be addressed, like it needs to actually be tended to, because your mental checklist is saying, but did you actually do section 2, paragraph 4, subset 3, right? Like it's way down there in your list of things to do. Did you get to that? Or was that when the phone rang and you went off and you did something else? So the double check is fine. But it's just when negativity, you're not worthy, you're not qualified. If you know that you are worthy, if you know that you are qualified, don't allow that type of negativity to creep into your conversations. When fear speaks, answer it with truth. You know what the truth is. You know that your team has done exactly what they need to do to prepare you for this moment. You know that you are ready for this moment. How do you know? In part because you prayed for it. You prayed for it not just like a few minutes ago, though you may have, but you've prayed for this for quite some time, and God is answering your prayer, not because it's you praying, but because you are now worthy of said opportunity. What do I mean by that? It's God has been preparing you for this moment. You've been learning, you've been testing, you've been experiencing, and now all of that wisdom, knowledge that you have gained along the way, it is now time for you to share it, for you to impart that wisdom into others. So when fear speaks, answer it with the truth. Yes, it is time. Yes, it is me. Yes, we are about to do this. Number 3, regulate before you react. Leadership is emotional maturity in motion. Now, that might sound a little different to you, so let me say it this way. You don't get to lead others well if you're consistently reacting, snapping, or shutting down. You don't get to lead others well if you yourself are unstable. So learn how to pause, learn how to breathe, learn how to respond with intention as opposed to just reacting to everything. If you are reacting to everything, there's something that still needs to be addressed, uncovered about that. Why are you so easily triggered about that particular thing? Either something needs to be healed, or that is just a little area where you're still a little bit immature and you just need to work on it a little bit more. And everyone has a thing. Everyone has a soft spot. Everyone has a button that can be pushed. And you just need to work on it a little bit more. So number 4 is stay rooted spiritually. Let's bring this back to the foundation, shall we? You cannot lead yourself well if you are disconnected from God, because He is your source of said wisdom, your source of said clarity, and your source of correction. Self-leadership is not self-reliance. It is God-aligned discipline. So stay rooted spiritually. And dear listener, here is the final charge. You set the standard. That's right. You set the standard for you and your brand. Here's your motivational charge. Stop waiting for others to shift before you do. Stop outsourcing your discipline. Stop expecting externally what you haven't established internally. You set the tone. You set the standard. You set the example. Because when you lead yourself well, you don't have to demand respect. It's given. You don't have to force alignment. You already are. You don't have to chase consistency because you're already consistent. It shows up naturally. Well, everyone, I want to say I hope that this motivation has found a way into your spirit, that it has been the answer that you've been looking for, the confirmation to step up or to step out. And this week, you're building from the inside out. Because we're going to continue to go deeper. Every day is an opportunity to learn more about yourself, to make sure that you are refining yourself and that you are showing up authentically. But before you can teach others how to engage with you, I want to make sure that you know how to govern yourself. So until next time, may you lead well, may you live intentionally, and remember that the first person you are called to lead is you. Thank you, everyone, for spending some time with me here today. I am so glad that you did. I hope that I have enlightened, inspired, and empowered you once again. You could have been anywhere, and I thank you for spending some time with me here today. As always, may the Lord continue to shine His face upon you. May you receive His grace and His mercy in all that you do. Until next time, everyone, remember that you are blessed in the Lord. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.